This video is a commentary of a recent match I had with the Geara Zulu. It is a 550 cost general that is exceptionally simple to handle while also being quite powerful. Its weapons are quite reminiscent of lower cost Zakus, so I think it is an especially good choice for beginners looking to get into higher costs. I think its beam machine gun is pretty versatile. It gets burst fire while uncharged, or it can charge for an instant stagger. The charge shot are a short focus time, so it's pretty easy to initiate with. It also has a Sternfaust as a sub-weapon. You can basically treat this as a high damage bazooka but with one ammo. It has fast swap time so you can combo into it from your other staggers. Like lower cost Zakus, it also has thrown hand grenades. These have higher stun value and more damage than their low cost counterparts, so it's alright to throw them when you can. What you should really be aiming for with the Geara Zulu though is melee. Its melee power is roughly equal to that of 700 cost suits. It has poor combo modifier though, so it's best to just go for the downswing. You basically always have the ability to stagger as long as your machine gun has ammo. The charge shot is usually preferred, but the burst fire mode has high stagger value and generous ASL. In fights like this for example, you can abuse the low cooldown of the machine gun to keep staggering the enemy. It is especially useful if you happen to be overheated, so it's always possible to regain the advantage. You have to be careful of raids with the damage control skill, like High Mobility Hazel. It is usually a bit slow to stun them unless you begin by throwing a hand grenade. In many cases you can re-stagger your Sternfaust and proceed to melee once you manage to stun them though. Your hand grenades have utility for clearing enemy pilots as well. They have generous splash radius and low cooldown, so it's easy to defend points with. I think it's important with this suit to have good timing. By that I mean you should be patient when possible and wait for the best opportunity to go for melee. Your shooting ability is short range but decently powerful, so don't be afraid to use it at all. Here for example, it is easy to close the distance from melee by comboing from your machine gun to the Sternfaust. You just have to wait for a good chance to do it. If you have time to throw a grenade, it's a good idea to combo into your machine gun afterwards. The high stagger value means that only 2 shots are needed to stun afterwards, 4 if they're a boosting raid. Saving ammo is always a good idea with this suit. Your charge shots have full power even if you will only have 1 ammo remaining. If you need a little bit of extra damage, then try to fire your Sternfaust before you downswing. It is 2500 ballistic damage, so it's basically good damage to any suit. Here for example is the previously mentioned weakness against damage control. You will struggle to stun through level 2 move runner or any level of damage control with your machine gun alone. Here I got a little bit cocky and tried to set the rig up to get stun locked. My allies weren't in a good spot to fall off though, so I probably should have just downswung. Though if you do catch a raid, you're going to do massive melee damage for sure. I definitely got too reckless here. I was not paying close enough attention to the timer, and so I ended up getting caught out just as the aces were chosen. In situations like this at closer ranges, the Geara Zulu excels at cleaning up low HP enemies. You can continuously harass them with easy staggers and consistent damage. In a situation like this where you're at our numbers disadvantage, it is better to just play it safe and shoot. You can advance in properly once more allies spawn to help you. You should always be ready to capitalise on enemies that are recklessly rushing as well, especially if you get chosen as the ace, in which case they will probably be trying to focus you down. The hand grenade's splash radius also makes them pretty useful against enemies hiding behind cover. It's basically free damage in a situation where you otherwise could not get to them. I definitely messed up here. I should have just confirmed the kill with a neutral swing rather than going for the downswing. It is a good example of how narrow the downswing is, so be careful of it. In this final stretch of the match, I'm just trying to play it safe. I know that the enemy will try to target me since I'm the ace and have low HP. They basically have to come to me though, so it's fine to just sit back and wait for them. Really just playing behind cover since that support is looking at me. If I get caught by a charge shot and then his arm grenades, I'm dead for sure. If you get the time to catch somebody in a full melee combo with this suit, the results are devastating. You can output such insane melee damage with it. I think that this match went really well overall. I had a few notable mistakes, but it was smooth sailing over the nose. It really isn't difficult to do well with this suit. You have an excellent set of skills and stats, including high priority, maneuver armor, a dodge roll, good durability, and even good mobility. With only 4 weapons, the game plan is really straightforward as well. It is basically like a Zaku from 300 cost, scaled up to be playable in 550 and 600 cost. If you don't like playing higher cost because of added complexity, or you're a beginner to this game, then Geara Zulu might just be the ideal suit for you. And as always, thank you very much for watching.